A mysterious change seems to come over Americans when they go to a foreign land.
So this is all about Canada and the United States, the two hockey powerhouses.
Good day, how's it going? I'm Bob McKenzie, it's my brother Doug.
How's it going? Hey,
we got two topics today, back bacon and long underwear.
Ward bumped in two by the linesman, the puck goes down and hit the goalpost.
I'm Ricky Bobby, and if you like hunting knives as much as I do, you gotta have yourselves the Eviscerator.
Irwin at the boards, dealt it behind to Johnston. Played one in front, knocked down, rebound, tie game!
One of my fondest childhood memories is sitting on the back porch enjoying a whole mess of pork rinds.
Poulin, shot, score! The gold medal to Canada!
In school today, we actually had an assembly and watched it.
Only in Canada would you have an assembly for a women's hockey gold medal game.
So that's our show for today. So good day. I think that was like
the worst show we ever did.
No, it was a good show because like we had two topics.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
But yeah, the one I saw on television looked almost silver. Even a brighter silver than, say, Dallas or Detroit.
Well, yeah, but it's the
lighting.
I can tell that it's their pewter, and then it has the chrome face mask, which is dumb.
Welcome to Basically a Sports Show. We're obviously talking about the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers helmet.
Is this their new full-time helmet?
Yes. This is it.
Christ.
This is the new
that's right,
logo,
because we can't have alternate helmets anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the giant D? Is that on both sides of the helmet or just one?
Yes, it is. It is
on both sides?
Yes.
Really?
It will thankfully be on both sides. I was a bit terrified that they do the giant logo on one side and then numbers on the other side.
So they're just changing the helmet. They're not changing the uniforms.
By all accounts, the only thing that's going to change on the uniform would be the word mark under the collar, and the ship logos on the sleeves are going to get updated too.
Yeah, because Warren Sapp on the NFL Network showed they put a big thing up on their video screen and showed the new ship logo, the new word mark, and all that all at the same time.
But other than that,
What's
I think
the point.
Well, that's kind of my thing. I thought they had one of the best looks in the league before. They were one of those few teams that no matter what combo they went with, they looked great, I thought. They just couldn't go wrong no matter what they wore.
It's similar to what the Panthers did last year, where it's like, hey, we're going to change the logo, but nothing else.
Yeah,
just slap the new logo on the side of the helmet, which is pretty much the same as the old logo.
By all accounts, the change will be minimal of the jerseys. They said slight changes. So, yeah, we're talking probably logos on the sleeves being swapped out, a new word mark under the collar, and that's probably going to be it.
They're not going to sell a bunch of new jerseys for it. I mean, they'll sell T-shirts and hats, but
yeah, you
make money off the jerseys.
If you owned a jersey, if you own a Buccaneers jersey and you really don't want to spend the money,
and God help you if you own a current Buccaneers jersey.
Yeah, in fact, you're probably just better off finding a John Lynch throwback and kind of just going with that.
Yeah, really. What was his? Was it Derek Brooks that played for the Bucs? Yeah, right. Yeah,
Hall of Famer.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, get like a Brooks or a Lynch or an All-Star throwback, and just rock that because.
Got even a Brad Johnson maybe.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Or Keyshawn. There you go.
They were on that Super Bowl team.
That's right. What I fear is this is the direction the NFL's headed in with these gigantic logos. This looks so. The logo itself isn't bad. I know Mike said it looked like clip art. I'm okay with it.
It reminds me of clip art.
I don't mind the big logo. There's no personality to that logo anymore. It's a generic skull with a generic football on a generic pirate flag.
It looks like a generic knockoff of the old Bucs logo. Like this is the stuff you'd find on unlicensed T-shirts.
Well, okay, let's say this, and let's say they do the old logo with this giant decal on this helmet. What do we think?
I still don't like the giant decal. I still don't like the giant logo. I think it looks terrible in college, and it looks terrible at the NFL level. It's just a bad look.
I can live with it. It could stand to be slightly smaller, but
that's where I'm at.
I think they have it that size because based on like the ear hole, if they made it any smaller, the hilt of the sword would probably be in the ear hole.
But this brings up a good question. Given the multitude of helmet styles that any one NFL team has, assuming the Buccaneers helmets aren't infected with some, virus, but with this giant logo that has to conform to ear holes and whatnot, will this be viable on that multitude, on every single model of helmet?
Probably not. But
you had the same problem with some of those. I know, like the Vikings and the Eagles, because of how theirs go up, there were a few players that had to, have cut off Viking horns because of the way the graphic was laid across and where the vents were on a certain helmet. It happens. It's but it's on there. You don't notice it unless you're looking at it close up.
I'm with Zach. The big logo doesn't bother me that much, but it could stand to be smaller a little bit. But
I mean, it certainly can't be any bigger.
No, that's for certain. I will say I'm impressed that they get the decal to lay so nicely over the curve of the helmet with it being that size, because usually you would think that there would be bubbles and that kind of thing just because
This is also the one helmet that they have.
This is true.
To display.
Yeah.
They probably could have taken 20 hours to put on one decal, but you wouldn't know.
I mean, let's see how these things look, when they have to be reapplied weekly.
Yeah. But
like a whole team needs to be reapplied weekly.
And the chrome face mask, that's another thing that I think we're going to see a lot more of.
Oh, I hope not.
Just get used to it. But
it looks cheap. Okay, it looks cheap. So a bit of bags crossover content, I guess, if you will.
Crossover.
When it comes, okay, so with Transformers action figures, back in the 80s when they were first released, they came with really cheap-looking chrome weapons.
Okay.
And they were just like little plastic weapons that were chromed. And now Transformers figures, they come with weapons that are much more integrated or whatever. I don't want to get into the whole toy thing. Point being that when I see something that's chrome, I just think of cheap and chintzy. I don't think awesome. I don't think badass. I think that looks cheap and it looks just absolute garbage. It looks like garbage.
The thing is, chrome, like when they put chrome on small things like that, like the bars on a helmet, it doesn't look good. Like chrome on like a truck's exhaust pipe,
right?
Versus this, it like they don't even look the same because chrome looks better when applied over larger surfaces.
Yeah,
when it's
I
on
agree.
these tiny little bars, it doesn't translate the way that chrome's supposed to translate.
Yeah, the example I was going to use is my motorcycle pipes look great in chrome, but my helmet wouldn't.
I think a full helmet would be different, but I mean it just sucks. On a helmet it'd be dumb, but I think it would still translate better on a full helmet than it would on the tiny tiny helmet bars.
I've seen the people that ride with chrome helmets, and trust me, it looks bad. They look cheap. They just Mike said, they just don't look like
they're not even like Oregons, where it's like the liquid metal thing. That's not even the same idea. Anyway.
But I will say this about the Bucs and their new enhanced logo and all this. It's a lot better than what I feared it might be. I will say that.
I was actually kind of pulling for an updated Bucko Bruce. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I was pulling for an updated Bucko Bruce.
See, now me being loving all things throwback, that Bucko Bruce one is not one of my favorites. I think that the look they went to after that was far superior. Again, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll get used to it. I just don't know how those gigantic logos are going to work on both sides of the helmet, because it looks to me, looking at it in the picture I see here, that the top part of the flag goes well across the halfway point of the helmet.
We used to have bigger logos on NFL helmets back in the 60s.
Yeah.
But, that was for the purposes of making sure that people in like the stands could see the logos. It's a much more TV-oriented market now. I don't get the point of the giant logo trend. I don't think it looks all that great.
Well, we're stuck with it. None of us seem terribly thrilled, but we're not terribly disappointed either. So, does that about sum it up?
I like the inherent kind of cheesiness of Bucko Bruce. I didn't like it. A while ago, I wasn't all that thrilled about it. The more I saw it, the more I kind of went, you know what? He's kind of refreshing because it seems today that everything needs to be fiercer. When the Seahawks updated their logo, it was fiercer. And I think Bucko Bruce kind of taps into a not necessarily fierce image of pirates. It's more of a romantic kind of swashbuckling image of pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's different. It's maybe, objectively speaking, the logos that the Bucks debuted after him were better. I'm not denying that. But Bucko Bruce kind of had a charm that kind of made him stand out, kind of made him a bit unique.
Like most
Bucko
things?
Bruce was fabulous. There's that sparkle in his eye and flowing locks. His fancy hat.
Bucko Bruce, is the man everyone wishes he was.
Okay.
So what Greg is saying is no.
Well, I didn't want to be quite that blunt about it, but okay, yeah. Not exactly, Mike. No, not exactly.
I actually heard a fantastic marketing proposal on the boards if the Bucks ever decided to bring him back full time.
Okay.
You know those most interesting man in the world commercials? Just do that, but with Bucko Bruce.
Hmm.
And but you kind of put a twist on it. It's like, where has Bucko Bruce been hiding all of these years? And it just turns out he's been like wandering the world having adventures.
Okay.
Yeah, screw you guys. I thought it was
fun. Should we talk a little hockey, gentlemen?
Yes, let's talk a little hockey.
Zach?
Can.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Boo.
What did you call them on Facebook? It cracked me up. What was it?
Maple syrup swilling Eskimos.
Yes, and I thought that was fantastic.
Maple syrup.
Well, I had to get creative because I wasn't just gonna my original idea was go beat those Canadian whores. But I decided for Facebook I'd be a little bit more nice, so I thought of a different way to say it, and I got creative. So, maple syrup swilling Eskimos.
Well,
I'll repeat it tomorrow morning. I'll have you know.
I did not see the game, but from what I can gather, do we know which American player it was that rang the post on the empty net?
Oh, tell me it was Amanda Kessel.
It was boop 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 boop. Okay, this doesn't tell me, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, anyway, that's going to stick with her for a while.
I have this GIF that's just replaying over and over as I'm looking at it.
Why are you torturing yourself like that, man?
It's like every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's going in.
Yeah. If I watch it enough times, then it's
like here comes the golden medal and ping. Oh wait, that's silver.
Is there a worse feeling in the world when you're watching hockey and your team, the other team pulls the goalie, and you've got the lead, and forget the ringing the post on the empty net. Just when they score that goal with, say, 30 seconds left, I just don't know anything in sports that is as deflating as that feeling is when you watch your hockey team give up the tying goal after the other team's pulled the goalie. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks because it's like there's their gold medal. It's just sliding down the ice. It's going towards the empty net. You're going to win, and then it pings off the post. Seconds later, you get scored on to tie it, and then it goes into overtime. And
right.
And the double IHF officiating is the worst officiating on the planet. And I'm not saying that's why they lost, because it went both ways, but it just needs to be pointed out how terrible they are.
Well, knock, Zach.
No, I know who's there, Mike. I know who's there, and I'm not answering the door. Tim and Sid are just Canadian institutions of